Yo, what's going on, y'all? OCO, Mr. Red Hawk. Yeah, I just want to talk about the Fantastic Four First Steps trailer, 2025 movie. Yeah, first of all, the trailer was so awesome. Loved it. And this cast, I think this cast is going to do pretty good as far as this Fantastic Four movie. I think it's going to be really good. And who we got playing in the movie is Pedro Pascal playing Reed Richards, who we know to be Mr. Fantastic. Vanessa Kirby, she's playing Sue Storm, who is the Invisible Woman. Joseph Quinn is playing Johnny Storm, aka Human Torch. And also the actor Ebon Moss Barak. Excuse me if I'm pronouncing his last name wrong. He's playing Ben Grimm, who we know as the Thing from Marvel Comics. And the villain we got for this particular movie is Galactus, who's the planet eater and consumer of planets. And he's played by by a guy named Ralph and his son. We also got the Silver Surfer up here again, but this time is Shala Bal Silver Surfer, who's a woman, and she's played by Julia Garner. So this is gonna be really, really good. And honestly, when I first heard about the change with Silver Surfer, I was a little bit kind of like, oh man, why they just didn't keep the original Silver Surfer? But she looks pretty cool from what I saw in the trailer, though. So I think she's gonna do well in this movie. And Galactus being on this movie, that's one of the things I have to mention too about Galactus being on this movie. Is I think it's so dope. And we had Galactus on a Fantastic Four movie before, and this was the one with Lawrence Fishburne doing the voice of the Silver Surfer. Also, Chris Evans was on this particular Fantastic Four because it was back when Chris Evans and Jessica Alba and them did the Fantastic Four movie. But I had one problem with Galactus. He was like a big storm instead of being the Galactus that we know from the comic books. And from what I saw in this trailer, Fantastic Four First Steps, Galactus looks exactly like how he looks in the comic book, which I think is so awesome. They did a good job. I think they did such a great job with Galactus as far as what I've seen so far. And Ben Grimm, the way Ben Grimm looks in the comic, they actually got Ben Grimm comic accurate. So I think this is so dope. So I think this is going to be a really, really good Fantastic Four movie. And it has a 1950 kind of feel and look to it. And it really reminds me of the comic book, like really, really comic like the way they did it. So I think this is going to be a really, really good, interesting movie. And Vanessa Kirby looks good as Sue Storm. I think she is going to do a good job as Sue Storm. And Pedro Pascal, I think he'll do a good job as Reed. He's a really, excuse me, a really good actor. And the vibe of what Reed is, as far as a man and a scientist and everything, a genius, I think Pedro can pull this off. I really think he will. I think he'll do a good job. So I think this is going to be a really great movie. It comes out in July. And what's interesting too, the same month Superman comes out as well. So I think in the summertime is going to be a really dope time for comic book heads and people that are into like geek culture and comic culture and everything and pop culture. So I think this is going to be a really dope Fantastic Four movie. And we know that 2015 Fantastic Four got a lot of bad reviews and a lot of people didn't like the movie. And that was starring Michael B. Jordan, which I think the movie was okay. It was decent to me, but I think the movie could have been longer with a different story. And I think that's the two things that made it not be as successful as the Fantastic Four with Chris Evans. Even though some people didn't like that movie either, but a lot of people did. So I think that movie did fairly well, and I think they did a great job back when they did that movie. Jessica Alba and Chris Evans. So I think this movie right here is going to be, to me, I think this movie is going to be the Fantastic Four movie that we really been waiting for. Like the look of it and everything, I think it's going to be really good. because they got Galactus in there now too. Come on, man. So this is gonna be really dope. So if y'all seen the trailer, let me know what y'all think about the trailer. And also too, if you have read the comic books, in this particular comic story in general, the Fantastic Four, let me know in the comment section who's your favorite member of the Fantastic Four. My favorite is Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. So thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for checking this video out. Appreciate all my subscribers as well. Thank y'all for y'all love and support. And go check out Fantastic Four First Steps in July. This is Red Hawk 1.